Hello there, not so gentlemen and ladies. Today I'm showing you this paintball gun, which was converted into a less lethal, budget-friendly home defense option, which I'm pretty sure will perform better than a regular Byrna. So why did I decide to build this and what sets it apart from your regular paintball gun? So this is actually built for a friend of mine. I'm hoping to give it to him this weekend. And essentially he wanted to have a less lethal defense option for, let's say, bears on his property or in general, just to have. So we went ahead and did a conversion of his paintball guns he had lying around instead of buying a Byrna, which can be very, very expensive. And I believe this will outperform a Byrna in almost every way see fit. And additionally, there are specific components that make this a less lethal option better than Byrna. And I'm gonna go ahead and show this on the desk view for what those components are in detail. Additionally, one of the reasons I wanted to build this is just to see if I could, and also for anyone that is a convicted felon or under the age of 18 with your parents' consent, depending on state, you would be able to own this as opposed to a firearm, or if you just wanted to have this as opposed to a firearm as a home defense option, because everyone should have the right for self-defense however they see fit, and this would be a great less lethal option. So without further delay, let's put this on the desk and show off all the gritty details. So now that we have the build on the desk, before I go into details from tip to butt, I do want to start off just saying that this was a X7 Classic paintball gun from Tippmann, which was converted into a mag-fed kit from a company called MCS. A lot of the components here are from MCS. They make amazing, cool stuff, known for modern combat sports, and they build a lot of cool just paintball equipment as well as self-defense equipment in general. So really cool place, not sponsored. Definitely check them out, especially if you want to make a build like this. For almost any Tippmann or paintball gun, they will have options, especially in the direction of self-defense. Now, if you didn't see my previous video, which was the Galil Ace paintball gun build, that's essentially very, very similar. There's a lot of components. I don't want to overlap and go over a lot of those details. So I'm going to summarize and just go over the details of essentially what this is on the highlights and talk about more so what the self-defense capabilities are and what sets this apart from your regular paintball gun. So going tip to butt, we have our regular barrel. This is stock of the paintball gun. Originally 12 inches, and you can make that longer if you see fit. The handguard itself is a lightweight 3D printed material. So if anyone wants the files for this, let me know. The grip came with the gun essentially from my friends, so I still have that on there. And then the actual build body itself. Again, this is the mag-fed conversion kit. So you take your internals out of the X7 Classic, you're gonna throw it in here. It's gonna work essentially the exact same way, except now you are mag-fed. And mag-fed is optimal for self-defense in general. A lot of the times, hoppers especially will fail. You'll have a lot of issues in terms of paint getting old as well. Round ball compared to a first strike round, which I'll go ahead and show right over here. So this round is very, very special. As you can see, it has the fins on the back here. Only mag-fed paintball guns can make this work because of the trigonometry and just how this works, right? If this was in a hopper using gravity, there's no way to get this to fall perfectly into the chamber. So using a magazine, it works perfectly. And this flies twice as far and 25 times more accurate than your regular paintball, and can even fly a little bit faster and have more velocity. So definitely you gotta go first strike or self-defense rounds with the fins in order to be optimal for a self-defense build. In general, these can sit also in the magazine, specifically the rounds we're gonna get for this, which is Devastator rounds from MCS, which also should not go bad in being inside of a magazine for an extended period of time. The only downside would be that the spring in the magazine would probably wear out over time, but that can be replaced without an issue. So moving on to the rest of the build itself, we have a lock bolt here on the back, which allows for the bolt, essentially, if it's not perfectly in place. If the paintball or self-defense round is not perfectly in the chamber, then it's not going to allow the bolt to fly all the way forward. So I'll go ahead, put the bolt back, and activate the lock bolt, so that's going to sit down in the chamber, blocking it. And if I go ahead, pull the trigger, again, the air is not on, there is no magazine, there's no paintballs or anything else. You'll hear that very light click. Compared to the lock bolt being off and letting the bolt go forward, you'll hear a much louder bang because that bolt went all the way. So the lock bolt is definitely the way to go because it's essentially just going to save you from accidentally causing a bigger issue of having a paintball being chopped or a self-defense round not flying out of the gun, and that way you can get rid of that bad round by taking out the magazine, putting it back in, and then continuing to fight on from there, rather than causing a devastating issue inside of your chamber. Moving on, so the actual build itself has the CV Life optic, which I'm probably going to take off unless my friend wants it, then he can buy it off me. But essentially, it's a pretty cool optic, which I just made an unboxing and first impressions video on. So if you want to check that out, go ahead, hit the I in the top right corner. Now, the rest of the build and what sets this apart, firstly, it has a air-through stock system instead of having the regular remote line. So that allows for the air to go straight through the stock instead of being an uncomfortable mess. And then this is the most important part and what sets it apart for being a self-defense build instead of a paintball gun, which is this little on and off ASA valve. So turning this counterclockwise would activate this air tank over here, but right now the air is not activated, and so all of these seals, all of the O-rings inside of the gun are not under air pressure, which is great. You don't want to be under air pressure until you actually need to use this. So simple turn of this counterclockwise allows you to then use the gun as you see fit. So if let's say you already had the magazine in there under spring tension, all you would have to do is rack this back, or you can even have that racked back if you wanted to, though I don't suggest it for the bolt. But yeah, you essentially turn on the air, rack this back, take off for safety, you're good to go. So really, really cool to have this for self-defense. And then the air tank itself is actually a really great option that I was able to find not a bad price for on eBay as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and take off the 3D printed stock over here. You can see this air tank actually looks fairly small. I'll compare this to your average paintball size air tank, which is a 13 CI. You can see here the size is significantly different, about 2 inches, which would be in length of pull from the trigger to the end of the stock. That's a good distance, that's a good amount. Me being a smaller fella, I personally always prefer less length of pull, and my friend does as well, so we wanted to go with a smaller air tank. Specifically, he's not going to need that many shots anyhow, right? In a self-defense situation, you're not going to need probably more than one magazine. These hold 20. These are also Helix mags from MCS themselves, so this tank should work perfectly fine for this application. Thank you so much for watching up until this point of the video. Hopefully you have enjoyed all the details that went into this, and if you did, be sure to hit the like button, and also you can comment any questions you have down below in the comment section. Don't forget to subscribe. We're gonna have awesome upcoming videos and more builds just like this, so be sure to subscribe for those videos. And we're also gonna have some suggested videos right over here or over here, whichever side, so you can be sure to watch those if you enjoyed this type of content. Hope to see you in future videos. All the best.